I'm Karen Hoyt, Marketing Director at Shasta Regional Medical Center, and we're proud to be part of the conversation that the Forum at KIXE is bringing to our community. Shasta Regional has been around for more than 60 years supporting our community, and we would like to invite you to be a part of the Forum on KIXE. Together, we can support the community that gives us back so much. Thank you.
Hi, and thank you for joining us on the forum today. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, and I'm here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and our guest today, Kate Mahar, Associate Director of College Options. Thank you so much for coming on today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
We're excited to have you here. College Options, we're going to learn all about different opportunities in the North State, and mainly, well, not mainly, but particularly focusing with Tehama County today, as we have you on, and later on we're going to have some other girls from Tehama. But tell us right off the bat, what is College Options? What do you do? Who are you? Where did it come from? Who supports you? People hear that word College Options, they're like, what is it? So fill us in.
Okay. Well, College Options is a program that's designed to increase post-secondary options for students and families in the North State. Historically, this community has been very focused on industry and jobs with mill and lumber, and those jobs, you could get a wonderful living wage job out of high school, take care of your family for the long term. Fortunately, with the changing economy, we have to let folks know that there's other options out there to pursue post-secondary education, to find a career field people feel good about, to be able to stay here in the North State and do something that they feel really engaged with. So we work with students and families to make sure that they know what's out there for them out after high school, how to prepare for those either educational work opportunities, how to finance post-secondary options, because there's just so much confusion about how do you pay for school? You're hearing in the newspaper all the time about how expensive it is. There's actually a lot of financial aid and scholarship opportunities that would take care of students and families. So we have programs that are either in the middle schools or in the high schools, or we have a center downtown where folks can come in and get that type of information.
Now, what type of things do you say, like what would be the three main things that you would, if you met someone and they haven't gone to college yet and you know that we're in this area, so what would be three things that you might say to someone that you do at College Options?
A lot of what we do at College Options is to talk about what is available out there. What are those options? So if we're at a middle school, we work with students to identify, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Do you know what's out there? Do you know what those options are available? And then how do you get from here to there? How do you take the courses that you need to do? How do you prepare yourself? How do you gather the information so that you know what you want to do, and then how do you get there? And really our goal right now, the way our school systems are set up, often students get to be 18 years old, and if they didn't take the right courses, some options aren't available to them. So we have what's called A through G requirements in California, and you have to meet those A through G requirements to be eligible for a CSU or a UC upon graduation. Unfortunately, folks don't know that often, so only about 22% of our students actually graduate with still eligible to go to a CSU or UC.
How many again?
About 25% on average.
Have already taken the course requirements that would allow them to get into, or even apply to.
Even apply
to a UC or a state, California State University,
So,
like Chico
like
or
Chico,
Davis.
exactly,
They would need
Sacramento.
these core components.
So if you don't have those core components, then how would you, do you help people get like their GED? Like what if they don't graduate from high school? Do you help with those things as well?
Yes, and so a lot of what we do is awareness, making sure students and parents know what they need to do. Our goal really is when their kids graduate from high school, they have the awareness and the preparation to make whatever choice that they want. If they take the right coursework and decide to go to UC, great. If they want to go to Shasta College and be a welder, fantastic. If they want to stay local, be a nurse, great. But we just want to make sure that those doors are still available to them when they're able to make those decisions.
I love how you start in junior high. I mean, you said you're in these middle schools. So which schools are you in?
We're actually in over 35 schools now in 5 counties: Siskiyou, Tehama, Shasta, Modoc. and Trinity.
Trinity.
So we're working with students in those schools, and then also with their families. McConnell has been a very generous supporter and partner for this initiative since the beginning. So, and one of their priorities is anybody can access this service. So we actually have centers. We're at the Tehama County Office of Ed, and also right down on the Promenade in Reading, where anyone can come in and say, this is what I'm interested. I want to go back to school. I want to get my GED. I started school, but I didn't finish.
Right.
Can you help us look at those options and find ways to plan
And
for
how
them?
much do they have to pay for that?
Everything is free. Everything is free. It's
So
a free
essentially,
service.
it's like free counseling. I mean, essentially, usually in schools, you have your counselor that you go into and you say, here's what I want to do, and they show you all the requirements to get to a college program. And for you, you're saying, whether you're a mom now or you've just graduated, or any place you are in your life, you can come in and say, hey, this is what I'd like to do. How do I get there?
Right.
Except for the counselors are highly trained experts in what they do. We call ourselves more of advisors. We work in partnership with the counselors to make sure that folks have the most relevant information about financial aid and about scholarships. And then, yes, for folks that are outside of the high schools, that they can come in and get that information. But really, everything that we do is in partnership. And you're going to be learning more about Expect More Tehama, and these really exemplify how partnerships can help with this real movement.
Effort,
So right now you're partnered with, as far as the colleges available to us in the North State, you're partnered both with Shasta College.
And College of the Siskiyous, Chico, Davis, Oregon State, Simpson College has been a fantastic partner, Simpson University, as well as national. So we really, there's not one institution pushing their own agenda. It's just making sure people know that these options are available to them.
And that's what we
I
need.
love just the whole concept that you're kind of casting the vision for what's possible. Because often, if your parents didn't do it, you wouldn't know.
Right.
I mean, so you guys come in and say, well, let's educate everyone. Let's educate the children. Let's cast the vision in junior high. Let's send home. I understand you do things like send home college posters and get the kids to choose what's your team, what's your college team this week. So you're helping them visualize this is what it would be like to be at a place of higher learning, and be at a four-year university, for example, or be I love
vocational
that
skills.
It's broad, right. So if you want to be a welder, then let's look at that. And so
it's the start. It's like the starting point for anyone that you don't know exactly what you want to do, and I think that's great, because I of course I endorse college. I think college is fantastic, and I think everyone should go, of course. But for people who maybe don't have, they don't know, and that's kind of your point, is they don't know where they should be, or how to get where they want to go, or even if that's possible. And what you're doing is showing that the impossible, or what seems impossible, is very much possible, and we'll get you there.
for anyone.
Exactly.
That's our goal.
So-
we really want to make sure that no doors are closed.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do it without our partners. The partners in the schools, the County Office of Ed for Shasta and Tehama, for Siskiyous, College of the Siskiyous, Shasta College. It's a true partnership movement, and every partner just brings so much expertise and passion to the table. So that's been actually my favorite part of all of this work, is working together to try to solve issues. We have a group in Shasta County called Retire Shasta that's working really hard also to bring these issues to the table within the education system. And we have a new initiative called No Excuses University that's also in many of our counties, that starts really young with what you were saying of adopting that college classroom and getting kids excited about their future opportunities.
I think that's amazing. I think what you're doing is, showing Reading that, hey, everybody has the same opportunity, whether you know it or not. And
And we're going to show you that we do.
exactly.
There are opportunities there. So, what's the difference then? Where does College Connection play in with College Options?
So College Connections is an amazing program that's run out of Shasta College with the high schools as a partner, where students can leave their high school and for their senior year of high school and their freshman year of college are combined out at the college. So they're finishing their high school diploma as they work on their college. And again, that's an incredible opportunity for them to be able to move forward and save money and have that experience.
And that's also something they can probably find out from your program. So if they come in as a junior or anyone in high school, you can say, hey, these are some of your options as well. If you're thinking about college, you can come out right now and start doing it.
And I have a good girlfriend whose daughter did that very thing, and she spent her senior year at Shasta College, and it was different because she would come back, come to campus. It was a little different, but the end result, we are 4 years down the line now from that. She is finishing Azusa Pacific University in 3 years because of being able to do that. So it really was and she got the classes, she got right away started when she was excited about it.
And that's our goal, is to have that information and share it with folks. And Retire Shasta, Expect More Tehama, college options. We're trying to bring folks to the table so that folks are aware of those options, and we leverage resources. We've been lucky enough to have federal money from the U.S. Department of Ed in combination with the McConnell Foundation and some great local funders. It's really about being a clearinghouse for information and real focus on partnership. This area has the most incredible people, really brilliant, very creative, and it's just bringing folks together for the future.
And essentially what you're doing too is, and this is kind of the whole goal of the show, is that you're growing your own. You're taking the people from the North State and you're growing them and helping them be better, And I think what you're doing is, really, I think it's amazing. It was a steep learning curve there for me, but I got it.
Well, and when Ashley asked at the beginning, what would your top 3 programs be? What would one of them was that you're in the schools early, okay? And what's another program that you really are proud about that you want to tout in our remaining time with you?
Yeah. I think the partnerships. I understand you're going to be talking to Expect More Tehama and the work they're doing in Tehama, Retire Shasta in Shasta County, bringing folks together, looking at this issue from multiple different directions, bringing parents together, bringing community members into the conversation, making sure that we have all perspectives towards this one goal, which is opportunities in the North State.
Sure, broadening them.
How difficult would you say it is for more rural communities? How difficult is it to access the children there, or the people, to let them know about your program?
Well, the rural communities are just so far away from even colleges, or Shasta College, not to mention a 4-year. So a lot of what we do is college trips and getting kids on a college campus, bringing parents with us on those trips so that they can see that option is available to them as well.
Well, that's one of the programs that I would have loved to hear.
Yeah.
That's an amazing, so how do you get on those trips? If they wanted to go on a trip, what do they need to do?
Well, we work very closely with the schools. We run spring break trips and summer programs, 8th grade trips, junior year trips, and then we always just encourage parents to come along with them. So yes, any of our services, just come on in our doors.
What's the easiest way? Your website is?
www.collegeoptions.org.
That's easy, collegeoptions.org. And thank you so much, Kate, for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
We really appreciate it. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of our show as we look at more specifics coming to you from Tehama County. Stay tuned.
Hi, and thank you for joining us on the forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and we also are here with the co-founders and catalyst of Expect More Tehama. And I have Kate Grissom and Kathy Garcia. Hi. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
And this is such a beautiful segue to our time that we got to spend with Kate from College Options as we look at what are they doing in Tehama County and what on earth is Expect More Tehama? Tell us all about it.
All right, she looks like me to start, so here we go. Expect More Tehama is really a community collaborative. We got together about 4 years ago. There was about 6 of us. We went and had coffee at Starbucks, and we all had a little bit of resources and some questions, and we really wanted to figure out how can we make the greatest impact in our community. And we realized that we had a lot of questions that we needed to ask. The great thing is that we sort of were starting this relationship with College Options just through a friend that worked with Kathy at the Job Training Center, indirectly with the girl that was trying to go to college. So we kind of had College Options just like indirectly as a resource. So we didn't know that we'd end up really being a partner, but it just really worked out well.
We realized with education that we had some challenges. And we decided that there's a lot on the plate for education. And times were pretty tough. And so how could we come alongside, support education, and maybe weather some of that together, wear some more of the hats that they're typically, they've been wearing.
And so who are these 6 women? I know you guys do this as, it's it's amazing because you guys really do take out your time. I mean, these women do have other jobs that they, you know, they're full-time jobs. And you guys just decided, how did you get these women together? How did this whole collaborative, how did you bring it together? Who were the women? What were you looking for?
Well, we really started off looking at key groups that worked with students to begin with. So mentoring, after-school programs. I work in job training, so I'm working in workforce development. So looking at maybe a little bit of an older student. And then we had some friends and co-workers that had students sort of in that mode of not knowing what they wanted to do next and how could they take that next step. So it all just sort of gelled. Today, 4 years later, is a very different animal.
Yeah.
It's huge, actually, and we're always continually looking to build the best.
So what are
we're
you
looking
doing?
for more. Well, we do a couple of things. I think we're best known as being conveners of good conversation and bringing stakeholders together. So in the very beginning, it's all about how do we begin to raise expectations. And an expectation is a hope.
Right.
And we realized is the kids that are been going on to higher education, in their households, it typically was an expectation. It was expected.
That's right.
For the kids who didn't, if you asked why, it just wasn't expected. So maybe we needed to raise our hope
For
level.
everyone.
For everyone.
For all the children, that's right. And you're exposing them as well. And you guys do some sort of bus trip to
Yeah,
Chico.
I think if you had to really nail down what is Expect More Tehama right now, it still is very much a grassroots movement.
Yes.
Our job is to champion the culture for higher expectations. So we convene people and we really take a look at the community and how we can support education. And so again, with the Venn diagram, if it was community and education, Expect More Tehama becomes that sweet spot.
Oh, I love it.
And it's really taking a look at all of the stakeholders in the community and bringing them together. We
see how they can
started
help.
Expect More kind of with a summit and just brought all the stakeholders. There was about 100 people that all came together and we just had that conversation. You know, what could we do or put in place that would help to begin to raise expectations
So
about
essentially,
higher
you guys
education?
mobilized your community.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
6 women, and this to me is amazing because this can happen in any community. I mean, 6 women got together, decided that you're going to raise the expectation, and then you just got 100 people together to talk about.
Absolutely. 6 women. There were some very, very great men out there.
Of
and
course.
Also, you know, we get to wear a couple of different hats.
Yeah.
And I work for Rolling Hills
Right.
as the marketing kind of community development. And working for the casino, the tribe really has a vision in supporting education, realizing that that's really the true infrastructure in a community. So fortunately for me, the tribe has not only afforded me the time to work on some of
Oh,
this.
that's amazing. I was going to
oftentimes-
ask how you're making that work.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. A little bit before, a little bit after, not so much during.
Right,
but,
right.
But also through our Community Development Foundation that the tribe does sponsor, we've been able to help with some of the funding that has been necessary. For example, college options.
Yeah.
So we talked to Kate earlier.
Right.
So one of her coworkers, Carissa, is actually who we work with, and one of those founding leadership members of Expect More Tehama. In the very, very beginning, 4 years ago, we actually helped fund college options at a single advisor in Tehama County.
Wow.
And you have to understand too that the high schools all have counselors, and the middle schools, you know, try to have that conversation. College options is just purely academic with so many of the other issues that counselors have to deal with at the high schools and the biggest caseloads that they have. It's amazing. And so they come in and, you know, they're there to back you up on understanding financial aid and having parent nights and getting you up here to College Quest and championing the kids, and they really get to know them. And when they're on the campus and they have that connection, you know, they can come alongside the parent. It's very confusing. I'm going through that right now. I have a senior, you know, and I know this stuff, and I'm half terrified.
It's still, well, it's terrifying if you decide to go back to school in general. Anyway,
Yes,
I mean,
it really is.
Even though you do know, but college options obviously is just a great resource for anyone in the community, and I feel like what you guys are doing is just amazing. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that high school program that you do? Can you tell us about that?
Well, I think really when you look at the programs that Expect More Tehama does, it's really not any one single program.
Okay.
It's really about working with either existing organizations or agencies, or, you know, one of the greatest examples that we're actually kind of dealing with right now was one of our middle schools came to us and said, we want to have an 8th grade leadership conference. And what we want to do is, we have the curriculum, we just need some help with, like, can we have it at your event center? Can you help us with maybe rallying some community dollars to try to get some pendants and some t-shirts and just really college going. And so year 1, this middle school had it. it was great.
Yeah.
Year 2, they invited 2 other schools. Year 3, those 2 schools invited 2 other schools. So it's sort of been
Ripple
this
effect.
Yeah, and this year we're really excited about being able to offer this as a county-wide program.
Right.
The schools still bring a lot of the funding to the table. The community comes together and helps with speakers and helps with some of the other
And you find that you have people passionate about every age level.
Yes.
You have your 0 to 5 people, and 0 to 5 is a key time in your life, to really get ready for the next step. But then you have your, those little middle school people
right.
too,
Yeah.
and it's all about reading and proficiency and learning about careers and, getting a taste for that. And then you're moving up, and that's, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, it's study skills, and it's getting onto campus, and it's exposing yourself, and then getting onto high school where you have to be making some choices.
Yeah.
And you have to have those options as a gift.
And you guys do get them onto campus, and so that was one of the things that you mentioned. And so when you take these 8th graders, right? You take 8th graders. Is that correct?
Well, actually, what
Going
we do is every single 8th grader in Tehama County has the not only the opportunity, but goes to at least Chico State. And there's 650 plus
Wow.
8th graders in the county.
Every single 8th grader goes to
Every
Chico on
single.
an excursion.
Yes,
A
they get on
day
a
at
bus,
the
they go
college.
down, and they have not just the cookie cutter tour. They have this in-depth tour.
I love that.
they
Do
go
they get
on.
to go in
So-
the dorms and see all that and the student life and the activity building and
They get to eat.
Some
They get to go
classes.
eat in the cool,
cafeteria.
cafeteria, and they get to see the rec center. And the rec center in Chico State
Yes.
is amazing in itself.
yeah.
But
it's
again,
just-
the impetus in that was really like, why aren't they going?
Right.
Let's just ask that question.
Yeah.
And let's ask that question in a community forum, and then the forward movement just starts to happen. So,
That's exciting.
yeah.
So if someone in your community wants to get to be part of Expect More Tehama, or they want to be part of that community forum, how do they find out how to do that? Or if they have a child who, right now, it's only for Tehama, is that correct? Or do you come up through Shasta County?
Well, there's similar, like I said, it's more of a movement, it's more of a conversation,
Yeah.
but these conversations are happening throughout our entire region.
I think
Kate
that's
Mahar mentioned a little bit about Reach Higher.
Yeah.
We have our good friends up in Lassen County. They have Lassen Peaks.
Lassen Peaks, yeah.
Lassen Peaks, and we kind of exchange different ideas. I know Glenn County has Expect Success, so there's these sort of,
great.
percolating,
Popping up.
it's really cool.
So Expect More Tehama, you don't just do the students because some other things have come out of what you guys are doing. So tell us about those other venues that you use to raise expectations.
Fantastic.
In Tehama.
Well, again, I think if you were to really strip away everything in this movement, it is an economic development strategy.
Yes.
It really is. Having a higher educated community will be more sustainable down the road. Certainly, that's what affords me the opportunity to work with our Community Development Foundation. Other things have come about sort of at the same time, very intentional. We've really worked on the agritourism in Tehama County. We started the Tehama Trail.
Yes.
24 agricultural producing products coming together to collaborate on marketing and on providing an experience. Again, trying to infuse the local economy.
Yeah.
We also had a branding effort to sort of put a look and a feel as a destination for visitors to come, and most recently a visitor center was opened.
Oh, wow.
And that's pretty special. And if you
Yeah.
go in, the visuals inside are really neat as far as depicting what we have to offer in the county.
I just love that you guys are creating all these little collaboratives. That really is what it is. You are truly mobilizing your community. And this just goes to show that anyone can do this in their community. And that, I think you guys are a great example for that. Really, this is...
And it just brings more of the good.
Yes.
Yes.
I love coming in downtown Red Bluff. I love those shops are
Yeah.
so awesome, and the people are friendly. And you take a 30-minute drive from Reading, for example. You feel like you're in another
Quaint
a whole
town.
world,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, it's like Western town feeling, and
Yeah.
I just love that. Everything from the as you say, all the farms and so forth. But it raises that whole kind of just the expectation of excellence.
And embracing
that's
your
what-
culture.
And their whole culture, yeah. We're not just
Understanding who you
a town
are.
you drive through. We are a place that you come. And so your children are seeing this, they're being a part of it, and then they get into 8th grade, and suddenly they get these magical, maybe life-changing trips.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty powerful.
But there's a lot you can learn from your community outside of school too. So a cleanup day,
Oh.
and bringing along your high schoolers and your middle schoolers, and getting them engaged and taking care of what they have. That does play out too.
It's been so exciting. You talk about mobilizing a community, and I love seeing your eyes sparkle when you're kind of summarizing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
There's been so many fun things that have spawned off of this. There's been Next Tehama, which was sort of like a young professional movement that didn't really like have a lot of legs, but of that, they kind of did a tap into Tehama, which was a neat event, and a Greener, Cleaner, Red Bluff, which are these cleanup days. And there's just all of these things that, I think people have become empowered.
Exactly. That's exactly what you've done. I mean, by branding and saying, hey, this is who we are as a culture, come visit us, you'll love us. But in your community, it's okay to embrace who you are. Hey, we're an ag town. Like, this is what we have to offer, and it's amazing.
Yes.
Do you do the farmers market from that and all that from the Tehama Trail? I mean, I feel like it's such a great example of what your community can be if you just take a look at what resources you already have that you can work from.
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, oh, we
need
just
all
this
new,
town. It's
or-
just,
yeah.
Yep.
Or we
It's
want to
already
be
here.
like some other place.
Well,
Sorry.
thanks you guys. What an awesome ending to our show today. It was
Yeah.
awesome having you on. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm Karen Hoyt, Marketing Director at Shasta Regional Medical Center, and we're proud to be part of the conversation that the Forum at KIXE is bringing to our community. Shasta Regional has been around for more than 60 years supporting our community, and we would like to invite you to be a part of the Forum on KIXE. Together, we can support the community that gives us back so much. Thank you.
That went so fast.
So, yeah. Can you believe that? 12 minutes to say that. So interesting to see what's come of your little coffee. When you talk about it, when you kind of started relating. These are all the things.
It really is amazing. It's almost like how that TEDx movement happened.
Yes.
It's like over
such a
people